I get a message in all capital letters. You guys, our flight is canceled.
Hey guys.
All right, we're dusting off the cobwebs from the camera.
We're back.
On an unintentional. Has it been a month?
It's been like it's sort of unintentional hiatus.
Minorly intentional.
Welcome back to the 10 of you who have stuck around.
Welcome back, everybody,
to the Cousin
Connection podcast. And I'm sure
you've already noticed if you are watching the video at least. You know, I'm wearing a nice little gift just dropped off by one of the cousins, actually.
A literal cousin.
Yeah. Shout out to Faris. You know, he a real one. Yeah. He just came up with this surprise right now to, cute. Commemorate the 3 years that we have been on the podcast or doing the podcast. Sara is currently not wearing hers because I just showed it to her right now.
Yeah.
But I got mine on. You know, I'm already repping out here. 3 years. If you're listening to the audio, I'm wearing a shirt. It's basically our logo, and it says 3 years in the middle. But
so cute.
Yeah, when he dropped, I was surprised when he dropped. I was like, but I low key when he pulled up, and I saw him walking up, I was like, I know exactly what you did.
Why?
I just put it in my mind. I'm always trying to like figure out the mystery because he called me. He's like, I have a gift for you. And I'm like, what could he drop off? And I was
have to text him.
Where did he used to work?
Did you see it in his hand?
I saw a bag, but I didn't know what was in the bag. And then literally as he's walking, I'm like, I know what you have. And he stopped there. He's like, what do I have? And I was like, and I didn't even say what he had. I was like, where did you used to work? And he had a huge smile.
I genuinely didn't know. As soon as I walked into Amir's house, the door was unlocked.
I honestly, I didn't even know I left the door unlocked.
I thought you did it intentionally.
No, I forgot to lock the door.
And then as soon as I walked in, he's like, wait, don't walk in. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, I saw you. He had clothes on, so I'm just like, what am I waiting for?
Yeah.
And then he, walks back, and I see the shirt, and I'm just like, that is so cute.
So shout out again to Faris. Ladies, he is, from what I know, he is single. He might be, he's a low-key guy.
He's a low-key guy.
But he's single. And if he does things like this, what do you think he would do for you?
Exactly.
So again, shout out to Faris. I need to maybe I'll put it
his photo.
Yeah, his photo
data.
Here. Exactly.
Faris, thank you so much. This honestly is so nice. I'm obviously gonna text you and thank you. Personally
so
too,
that was a nice surprise to start off the day. We're, like Sara said, we're kind of dusting off the cobwebs. It felt kind of weird being gone for this long. Personally, I felt wrong not editing. Yeah.
I am not gonna lie. I think I needed a little bit of a break, to recuperate and then bring back a fresh energy. But also we were just on vacation, so we really are bringing the energy back.
I was kind of naive thinking that we'd have time to actually do stuff when we were on vacation. I think you guys already know, at least people, if this is your first episode, we were in Australia for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
That's a big trip, and I feel we say it so casually, but it was actually a pretty big trip. We flew to the other side of the world.
To connect with some cousins. And shout out again to Abbas. He got married. He moved. He left us.
If you guys don't know who Abbas is, scroll back to previous episodes.
Yeah.
Specifically the one that we had in the cottage, the Black Men Don't Cheat. I'm literally rolling my eyes.
We were supposed to do a Black Men Don't Cheat part 2.
I know, and it never happened.
Because there's just so much going on. As you know, when you're going to a place, a lot of people, if you're going to Australia, they might go there for a vacation. And we technically did go for a vacation, but there's also a huge Hiiii community over there.
Yeah.
Or a pretty sizable one. So of course we have a lot of family and a lot of friends there. Clearly now with a bus moving there. And we were kind of caught up with all of that and doing that. And also just with them exploring at least the Melbourne area. I'd made a small little trip, literally a last minute trip. Maybe we'll get into that too.
Yeah, we
to
should.
The Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And yeah, y'all missed out on that, man.
I went to the Gold Coast.
Yeah. So this is my first time going to Australia. Yeah. It was actually Sara's second time. So she already, she already done. She's been around. She was there for a month last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a whole month. So she got a lot done then. So it was our turn to kind of do a little bit, even though we had a lot of family and stuff, and we were only there for 2 weeks this time. We had to balance that. I think we got a good balance in there of it.
I think so. I think the bulk of this episode is probably going to be a recap.
Yeah.
Side note, we did vlog this trip.
Oh yeah, we vlogged a lot.
And I think unintentionally, we ended up getting pretty good content. I think we should still talk about
what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that like we went to Australia, but they didn't want us to come for some reason.
We
at least
had the trip from hell. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, like should we get into it then?
Yeah, of course we should.
Okay.
But before we do, you guys better subscribe, okay? We're on the road to 10K. Y'all better subscribe. Don't forget to comment on this video.
We've been slacking, but we're gonna, now that we're back, we're gonna start hitting the road hard.
We are
bringing some guests on, and just bringing some new content, especially with the vlog and everything. So
exactly.
we're gonna be working on that.
Exactly. Okay.
So
do you want to start? Okay, I'll set the scene. So it's Thursday afternoon. We are getting ready to go to the airport, and everyone's pretty much on their way, whatever form of transportation they're taking. At this point, I think I had just found out that our flight from Toronto to San Francisco was delayed by an hour, but like whatever, we figured we were just going to go to the airport early anyways.
At this point, you're expecting at least some delays.
Yeah, but like 1 hour delay is not that big of a deal. So we were like, whatever, we'll just go. So we're all on our way, and it's myself, Amir, Nabat, who's a friend of the show, obviously, and Iman, our other cousin. So as we're all on our way, I was in an Uber, and I'm already stressed because the Uber driver is taking the 407, and he's telling me that I have to pay for it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
This is something I never heard.
Yeah.
Why did he
take the 407?
He forced you to take it, or you said, oh, okay, take it? Like, how did that go down?
No, so he was like approaching it, and he's like, hey, so I didn't realize, like, I forgot to take off the tolls on my GPS.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can take the 407. It'll take me 23 minutes. Or I can, like, go around. It'll take me 47 minutes.
Okay, so at least gave you the option.
Yeah, and I was
it wasn't like you're in the middle of the 407. He's no. By the way, you're paying for this.
So he's like, 23, 47. And I'm just like, I'd rather be early. Just whatever. Take it. It's fine. I don't even think it charged me, like, a significant amount. I didn't pay attention. Because I got distracted. You want to know why?
Why?
Because as we're in the car, and I'm just like 407 trying to do the math.
I know why, but go ahead.
I was like, oh, you were there.
I'm the audience right now.
So I get a message in our group chat from Navat in all capital letters. You guys, our flight is canceled.
And this is a long flight.
Yeah, not the Toronto flight. The flight from San Francisco to New Zealand.
Yeah, because it's a 3-part flight, a 3-part journey. Yeah, so it was supposed to go from Toronto to San Francisco to New Zealand to Melbourne.
Yeah, and so Amir and I are like, what? Iman, MIA.
Yeah.
Like literally MIA, not available in this group chat. So Amir and I are just like, what do you mean canceled? Okay, like we're all gonna call customer service because we're gonna have to rebook. So Amir's on the phone on hold with customer service. Yeah.
Immediately I called them. Like I saw Nabat said she got through. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just call just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I did the same. So and mind you, the customer, like the hold music for Air New Zealand is like some tribal like.
Hey, it was banging.
It really was. Like I was vibing. At first I'm like, what is this? But then I started getting into it. Like I had it on speaker. The Uber driver was like, what? Who are you calling? Yeah. So by the time I make it to the airport and Amir makes it to the airport, we're all still on hold except for I think Nabat got through but was put back on hold. So I finally find them, and it's the two of them. Again, Iman is still MIA. And we join the line.
We understand why later.
Yeah, I'll explain why later. So we're now in the line about to like check in. So we all previously checked in on our phones, but like to drop off our checked bags. But then we realized, oh my God, the flight's canceled. So like we need to be rerouted, meaning we shouldn't drop our bags off. So we speak to the guy at the front desk, and he's basically like, get rebooked and then come back. But because you guys already checked in online, you need to be like checked out.
Yeah, which I never knew you could do.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. So I was like, okay, check us out then. So he says he checks us out.
But in their system, when they check, they're like, no, you're still checked in.
Yeah, so we're like, check us out then.
Yeah.
I don't even think he knew how to do it, to be honest with you. But he claimed to have checked us out. We're still on the phone with customer service. Amir and I don't get through, so I hang up. Amir
at this point
stayed on hold for like 2 hours.
I was vibing at that point. I was like, I literally was on hold for so long. I forgot that I wasn't just listening to a playlist on like Spotify and that I was still on hold to the point where like far ahead, we fixed everything. Everything is ready to go. And I'm still jamming. I'm like, I'm still on hold, guys. Should I cancel? And like, yes.
Like he literally was like, should I hang up now?
We already fixed everything.
So basically, Nabat gets through, and she's like, you know what? Fix all of my friends' tickets. Like at this point, so he fixes everyone's tickets, and we actually ended up getting a better deal because instead of going through New Zealand and then Melbourne, he rebooked us to go from San Francisco straight to Melbourne, which ideal scenario, right?
Exactly.
So we all thought everything was fine and dandy until Iman finally emerges, and she's like, wait, so what flight was canceled? I'm like, girl, pay attention. Anywho, I'm like, where is your checked bag?
She kind of, just to give her some credit, she came in halfway through, like us figuring it out. Yeah.
She did. Yeah. But we were like, where is your checked bag? Because she came with just a check-in, like a carry-on. So she's like, what do you mean I already checked in and dropped off my bag? And we were all like, why would you do that? Like, did you not read the group chat where we said the flight was canceled because now your bags are going to go to New Zealand? And she was like, hold on, what?
That's a rule we should. I feel like it's like an unspoken rule, but now we should make it more like solid. Yeah. If you're going in a group trip with people, everyone gets there first before checking in, unless there's like one person, everyone else is checked in, everything seems to be fine, and like there's one person late or something.
Yeah,
that's the exception to the rule.
So then Iman is stressing because obviously she doesn't want to lose her bag, so she speaks to customer service. They send her to like the basement of Pearson Airport and tell her go retrieve your bags. And
they're like, go to the dungeon.
Yeah, no, literally like the basement of the airport. So she leaves. Mind you, it's like 4:30. Our flight is at 6. Yeah. Okay. Check-in was closed. So she's in the basement somewhere. The front desk guy, and I have her passport. The front desk guy is like, I need to see her here to validate. Like, I can't just check her in. Yeah. So I'm like, but she's getting her bags. He's like, just leave it. Like, it'll make it to the destination. Yeah. We were like, okay, like a little suspicious.
We were already stressed enough to like be like, okay, you know what you say? We're just going to believe you on that.
Yeah, like we'll just see what happens. Yeah. So I call Iman and I'm like, you need to come back right now because check-in is closed and they're going to start boarding soon and we need to like get our stuff in check. So she's like, okay, by the time she comes back, it's like close to 5 o'clock. They have to get a manager approval because check-in has closed and like they were still checking the 3 of us in.
It literally closed as we were checking back in. So I think like I got in and someone else got in. I don't know if it was you or Nabat.
And then Nabat couldn't check in.
It was like right on the minute. It said like it closed it and then Nabat, he's like, oh shoot, I missed it. Like you can't get in.
So then he's checking in Nabat with his manager. Then Iman finally comes back, checks in Iman. Iman's stressing because like her bag, we just don't know. So we're like, don't worry, Iman. Like we'll figure it out.
For context, or not to give more like background on that. Iman has already had issues with specifically going to Australia because she had gone there a few months before and almost the exact same thing happened.
She didn't even get the bag.
Yeah, she didn't get to check in her bag and literally had to go to Australia for I think a 2-week trip or 1-week trip. I can't remember how long it was without any baggage. So just her carry-on. Yeah.
So we understand the stress and we're like, we get it, but we're just like, don't worry, inshallah, everything's going to be fine. So we all finally make it through. We send our bags in and we're like, okay, let's go through security. We go through security. And
which was crazy long.
I know. It was so busy. Like we should have known. But anyways, we make it through and we finally like make it onto the plane. And we literally, it was kind of just like, by the way, we didn't have our boarding passes for the San Francisco to Melbourne flight.
We'll just say, you know, inshallah, we get something when we're there. Like we were just praying at that point.
We had no clue. So we were just relying on God. So we finally make it to San Francisco. And I think it was like 11:30, almost midnight, right? Because the airport was kind of quiet. Yeah. But we were starving, like so hungry. And I'm so mad that we didn't get to eat before because of all the commotion. Exactly. So we make it. And then I'm like, okay, we're walking around the airport and I see a very glorious sight. It was the Joe and the Juice like logo thingy. And it was so far in the distance. I was like delirious. I'm like, you guys, let's go to Joe and the Juice.
And anyone who's watched the Sweden vlog, I think already has caught on to what this place is famous for.
Yeah. So I wanted my tunicado So we walk. It felt like it was like 2 kilometers. Honestly,
it was literally
so
at the end of the hall, at the end of the airport.
And so we're like speed walking there. Amir was like, do I want tuna? Do I want salmon? I mean,
I ditched them. I was like, I'm gonna go to the convenience store and see if I can just get like a protein shake or something.
Yeah. So he's like, y'all do your thing. So we're like, I was determined. Imagine we make it all the way to Joe and the Juice, and it was closed.
Yeah,
and
which is expected at that time, honestly.
But it's an airport.
Nah, airports are like, even Toronto airport closes at a certain time.
Yeah, I should have known.
But like the issue that I had was that when I went on my own journey to the convenience store, first off, I found out that America just is not halal friendly at all.
Yeah,
like
we knew that.
Not only for like halal meat, but like specifically for other options outside of meat.
Yeah, like they don't have vegetarian options.
Very few pescatarian options, to the point where I spent $20, more than $20 almost. And this is American dollars, okay? So that's like 50 Canadian dollars.
Nice math.
on 2 dry ass boiled eggs. And
remember that now.
And the tuna sandwich. So I was like, okay, you know what? The tuna sandwich will save me because I bought one of those as well. And the way they packaged it, like the bread, it's only half the tuna sandwich. You know how they do it? Like they cut it in half and like fold it in the triangle shape. And it looked like it had a bunch of tuna in there. I was like, okay, at least this will bless me, right? I open up the package. Tell me why 90% of the tuna is just clumped up at the front to make it look like it has a bunch of tuna in it. The back of it is basically empty. Just trash.
Yeah, it was like the convenience
and it was
store.
Also dry.
It was very dry because we honestly, I didn't want tuna from there, but it was kind of like we had to settle because they had like a cafeteria and then the menu items looked kind of good. Remember like the pizza and whatever, and they didn't have anything available.
Yeah.
I think they only had like pastrami type of sandwiches. So we all had to settle for the tuna sandwich, and I think like we got some kind of snacks.
Yeah, like I looked for some good protein shakes. I don't know. I got a couple maybe. I can't remember
you found
exactly.
Protein shakes?
I think so. I can't remember if I did. That's the thing. I just remember, I think I actually couldn't find protein shakes, so I got the food instead.
I found like a protein, like a date protein bar thingy, and it was so bad. I had one and I was like, this is gross.
I kind of gave up on protein bars in general.
I was desperate.
They're so dry.
It was they're usually so
nasty.
Like disgusting. But anyways, we have our dry ass tuna. And side note, it was kind of like we got our food, but then our flight was in like an hour, so we had to go to the gate and then get our boarding passes. And poor Iman was just like, yo, can y'all check if my bags are here? Total side note, a tip is if you have air tags, put them in your bag, because people, like the employees at the airport, don't always know the status of your bags or where they are. Air tags will help locate it.
Yeah, air tags will save your life.
No, literally though. Yeah. So like Nabat and I had it, and we kind of had peace of mind because we knew that if like, even though Amir didn't have one, because we checked in together, we knew that
most
his bag
all together. Yeah,
exactly. So like we saw that the bags were in San Francisco. We were good. We were chilling. I'm like, Iman, don't worry. I'm sure your bag is probably with us in San Francisco at least.
Yeah.
So whatever, we now get on this flight and it's pretty empty. So like Amir had a whole row, Nabat had a whole row.
That was probably the best part of the trip.
I was so sad.
Why?
Because Iman and I didn't have our own row.
Honestly, I feel like you guys could have claimed your own row.
The basketball player took the row in front of us.
Sara was being such a side note. Sara was being the biggest groupie.
Whoa. Hear me out.
Basketball player.
Hear me out.
Because she saw a tall man, she's like, that's the one.
Hear me out though.
What?
Because he was sitting like a couple rows in front of Nabat, like on the other side. And I was wondering why all the flight attendants were being like so attentive to him.
Were they?
Yes. So I'm like, who is that? Like, who is that guy? And then they told him that he could sleep in the row in front of us. Because he's like, when I tell you he was tall. Yeah. Like Amir was at his belly button. I think there's something in my eye. Oh. I got it. Look at that. Did you
actually? Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if I can zoom in on that.
I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but I literally caught my eyelash. Anyway, so I was like, who is this guy? He's sleeping in the row in front of us, and I'm like, I feel like he's a basketball player. So Iman was like, you need to find a way to talk to him.
Y'all were trying to like scheme the whole time on that flight, trying to figure a way.
And
you should like drop something.
You know what?
What?
He dropped his AirPods case. And I saw it, obviously, because I'm close to the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
So I picked it up and I'm like, Iman, is this yours? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, now's my chance. So I pick it up and I'm like, sticking my head through in between the chairs.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Because his head was like basically his head was in the aisle chair and then I was right here. So I could see.
And he was kind of screwed by the where he sat.
Yeah.
Because like in the seat that I sat in, it was 3 seats, but you could pull up the handles on the 2 middle ones, right? Or like basically 2 middle armrests, so you basically can make it into a bed.
Yeah.
But the one he sat on was like the one right before the wall. So for some reason, I think it's because of how the screen comes out.
Yeah.
One of the arms couldn't go up, so he had to kind of like do this weird thing where he's like leaning sideways. His torso's on like 2 seats, but his legs are like pointing out.
So that's why like his head was on the aisle seat, and I literally just like went like this. Oops! I went like around the chair and I just like poked his shoulder, and he was awake. Like I saw he was awake, so he looks up at me. He's like, "Hi." I'm like, "Hi, did you lose your AirPods case?" And he was like, he checks his ears. He's like, "No, I have my AirPods on." I'm like, "The case," and he's like, "Oh my God, yeah." And I'm like, "Here you go."
And he said, "What's your name?"
Do you play basketball for the NBA? No, that was all I said.
Chickened out. She chickened out, guys. She never found out.
But then, no, I'm telling you because his backpack said NBA Academy.
Yeah, but you never. She was like the shy groupie.
Yeah, I'm
like
definitely
she never
not
actually
like
asked him.
Absolutely not. I'm not that kind of.
She definitely
groupie.
followed him through the airport after we landed.
No, he followed us, but you know he like made it to wherever he was going, Australia. Yeah, he was in Australia. But anyways, we land in Australia, okay? After this long flight.
No. You missed the worst part of this. Okay, so when you're going on a long flight, no. When you're going on a long flight, typically when you like book the ticket, you have the option to choose because you're gonna be getting a lot of meals. You have the option to choose which meals you want. And of course, as Muslims, we're like, okay, if they have halal option or kosher option, we're gonna choose that. So we made those choices. We had specific seats we chose and everything. None of that gets transferred over. So when you're on that flight, you're at the mercy of whatever food they have on that plane. Right?
I know exactly what you're going to talk about. Because I honestly knew this was going to happen to you.
The lack of protein?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think, what did we have? First off, for the lunch, I think the lunch was okay. I forget what we had.
Was that pasta, like ravioli?
Yeah, we had like a pasta ravioli. Not much protein in there, but at least it tasted somewhat good.
It was pretty good, yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But the second meal for breakfast was eggs. They just said eggs and
we had the snack in between and that was fire. The like sandwich with the mozzarella pesto cheese.
Oh yeah, they had that too. That one was also good.
Yeah.
But the breakfast meal right before we land, they're like, "Do you want eggs or pancakes?" And I was like, "Clearly eggs, you know. I'm looking for my protein. I'm finally going to get it, right?" So I get it. I'm like busting open. I'm ready to dig in and I'm like, "What are these brown specks all over here?" And then I asked the guy, I was like, "These are eggs, right?" He's like, "Yeah, eggs and bacon." I'm like, why? Like, why would you put little pieces of bacon all over the eggs?
Because, Amir, they can't have 2 vegetarian options. It's one or the other. So pancakes normally, I feel like, would be the...
Is okay, technically, eggs are vegetarian, but it is sort of a meat as well. It's like, I don't know, if they had, like, bacon strips on the side that was separated, so I can kind of, like, be like, I don't want this, but I just want the eggs. I'll be down for that. But, like... The fact that they gave us only options to be pancakes, eggs that have bacon in it and pancakes, and those pancakes were the worst
so bad
pancakes I have ever tasted in my life. First off, alhamdulillah for everything.
Yeah, we sound really ungrateful right now.
But the pancakes, everyone who knows me personally knows that I hate having like baked items mixed with fruit items. Like I don't really like strawberries on my food, or you know, people mix stuff like that.
Like fruit mixed with any dessert.
Fruit mixed with anything really.
Yeah. And
of course, when they said pancakes, I was like, okay, you know, I'll deal with pancakes. At least I can put some syrup on it.
You were low-key expecting like the hot cakes from McDonald's.
Yeah,
low-key. Yes, so was I.
And then they give us this food and they put it in front of me. I'm like, what are these dime-shaped discs on my food? And then why are they blue? And I find out that it's blueberry covered pancakes and no syrup.
Yeah, it was like ricotta. I don't know. There was no syrup on it. Or I think it was like already they already put syrup, but it dried up at that point.
I don't even think it had syrup. I think they were just it had like the blueberry mix kind of syrup kind of
Oh,
thing.
like the compote?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I was so desperate that I broke my own like not habits, but like my own preferences.
Yeah.
To just eat it. I just ate it all. Like I literally did not taste it. I just scarfed it down just for the sustenance.
Miskin. You know why? Because you were scarred from the Sweden flight when we had no
I think
food.
that's what it was.
So he's like, let me just eat what I can get.
Yeah, because Swedish people definitely don't like accommodating for people who are vegetarian.
Yeah.
They didn't have any vegetarian options.
Yeah.
And like I was desperate to the point where I was like, you know what, I'll just like really savor the bread they gave me with the butter. So I like took the butter packet and like as I'm eating everything else, I like stuck it under my leg to warm it up. I was like,
side note.
What?
I totally forgot actually. What saved us was your mom. Shout out to your mom for making us the sukur bara.
Exactly. Shout out to mama. Okay,
she
gave us sukur bara, and that thing really did survive. Like
it was on a whim. Like
yeah.
She called me and she's like, "Oh, are you getting ready?" And I was like, about to shower. It was in the morning, and she's like, Amir always says no, but do you want me to make you sukur bara? And I was like, yeah, sure. If it's not going to be too much trouble, like go ahead, no problem. She's like, okay, I'll send it with Amir. You guys.
But the thing is, when I got there, she pulls up with literally almost like a pillowcase full of sukur bara. Like literally, I could have used this to like rest on for how much was in there. And I was like complaining at first, like I don't want to carry like this much on the plane. But honestly, it saved us because like we had so much that anytime we felt hungry or we felt like we didn't have enough, we could just like scarf down a couple here and there.
We loaded on so much carbs on that flight. Like I'm
Mother's
surprised.
blessings, man. That's what it is.
Honestly. But then we finally have our breakfast. We're like 2 hours away from landing. Side note, this flight was like 15 and a half hours. I don't know if you guys understand what that means. Sitting in a metal tube for 15 and a half hours.
It honestly, like, it did save us the fact that we could just, like, lie down. Well, at least I could. And, like, I didn't sleep much, but for what sleep I did get, at least it was somewhat comfortable.
Yeah, I guess. It was, like, Iman and I shared a row, so, like, we're small enough that, like, we both were able to put our legs on the seat.
Oh, yeah. So you guys had some type of, like, comfort. At least when you're next to someone, like, you feel less... Like you feel less likely to feel like you're inconveniencing someone.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps.
Yeah, I would say so. And then when we finally land in Melbourne, we were just like relieved. And so I just remember like we were like, okay, we found where the baggage carousel was. And
wait, before that, another dumb thing that we did. Okay, so like when you get off the plane and you're walking towards like the air baggage area, there's a place where you have to do like a passport check-in thing, and we see the two machines there, and we're like, oh, okay, we got it. And there's like a bunch of people waiting in line. We're like, I guess we gotta wait in line and do this thing, right? So we wait in line. We like try to do it. It doesn't work like half the time. We're like trying to figure it out, and after like 20 minutes of us wasting time trying to figure this out, we finally like, okay, we're done. We start walking down. Tell us why. We turned the corner. There's literally 30 more of these machines.
And like some people did them, some people didn't.
Yeah.
But we skipped it. And then there was this like even long, like hundreds of people in this extremely long line. And we were like, what is this line for? So I think it was you and Nabat or Nabat.
No, MVP Nabat, she pulled up. She's like, I'm not waiting this line, guys. I'm going to go and ask some questions.
So she like went, asked questions. And she's like, you guys already scanned our passports. We can just leave. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, great.
So doing that like actually saved us like a bunch of time.
Yeah. So then we finally get to our like the baggage carousel, and again, in my mind, I'm like, our bags are here. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, freshen up. And then on my way to the bathroom, because we were waiting and like there weren't that many bags in the carousel like going around. So I'm like, oh, maybe they just haven't unloaded it yet. So I'm gonna use the bathroom until it comes back. So I'm telling everyone like, I checked my AirTag and it low-key still said San Francisco, but it said like 16 hours ago. So I'm like, oh, it just didn't update, but the bags have to be here. Like they have to be here. So on my way to the bathroom, I see one of the airport workers and I'm like, hi, excuse me, I just got off the San Francisco flight. Was just wondering, like, did you guys unload the baggage yet? She's like, oh yeah, let me check. And like she checks her thing and she's like, yeah, everything's done. We've unloaded it all. And I'm like, sorry? You've unloaded it all?
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, can you not find your bags? And I'm like, no. And she's like, are you traveling alone? I'm like, no, there's 4 of us. She's like, all 4 of you lost your bags?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, when you use the term lost, I don't like that term. But she's like, okay, go to that.
It puts the onus on us. What do you mean lost? We lost? No.
So then I was like, screw the bathroom. I run back to them and I'm like, you guys, our bags are not here.
By the way, at this point, because Sara said 16 hours ago, but Nabat said it was in San Francisco 16 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I had already lost hope. I was like, I think I was even vlogging. I'm like, I'm pretty sure these bags are not here, guys. But they still had hope. They were holding out.
So then we go over to the counter, the United counter, because that was the airlines we were on. And with a heavy heart, we had to say, like, our bags are not here. Where the F are they? Well, we knew they were in San Francisco, but, like, can you just, like, locate them?
Yeah.
And the lady was like, this isn't United's problem.
Yeah, that's the one thing about airlines. The moment another airline has your baggage or, like, it's not their company who has it, they're like, you can't do nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah. We can make a claim or something. We can be like, yo, you can be like, flag it for them, but that's it. They're not going to do anything more than that.
And so I'm like, ma'am, we are here for a wedding that's tomorrow. Our stuff is in our suitcase. We need it. And she was like, yeah, not my problem, but I can submit a claim for you. And I was looking at them like, you guys, we're actually screwed. So whatever, we submit the claim, we do what we got to do, and we leave the airport empty-handed.
Yeah.
And we had to do the walk of shame to go see our cousins. And
mind you, like, all my underwear, everything was in the big luggage.
Can I just say, what? When we were packing, like, I'm not even joking, I'm like fairly confident. We all decided, like, guys, let's just pack our wedding outfit and like 1 pair of PJs and underwear and whatever for the next day, just in case, because this is like multiple flights. Like, there's a chance our bags might get lost. So Nabat actually did that, and I think Iman packed most of her stuff for the wedding. Amir didn't have a carry-on, so everything was in his checked bag, and I did half and half. So I had half of my wedding outfit and like literally just for the Hararis that know, the gay nafi and the milfota. So like I didn't have a dress, I didn't have any like undergarments. I had no pajamas for the night, no shoes, no makeup, nothing.
Technically, I was in a worse situation. I literally did not carry a carry-on. So, you know,
that's true.
I had my bag, and my bag had the podcast equipment, which we didn't use. some stuff that people asked me to like take to Australia for them.
Yeah.
And my gym stuff.
Yeah. And so we see our friends at the airport and my cousin, and like I wasn't even excited. I was just like, we have nothing to our name.
They're like, immediately to Kmart. Let's go to
literally.
Kmart.
So we pick up the rental, we drop off our stuff, and then did we go to Kmart right away?
We basically went right away, which is like their Walmart.
Yeah. And like I think Kmart used to be a thing in the States.
Maybe it does sound like something that used to be in the States. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like
it actually is more equivalent to Target.
Yeah,
because Walmart, at least here, I associate a lot with like clothing and stuff and appliances, but also groceries now. But Kmart is almost exclusively for like appliances and clothing now.
Yeah, and so we're all at Kmart and just like mad dash frantically getting whatever we can. So we're getting underwear, we're getting like for the girls we had to get bras and shapewear and whatever else we needed for the wedding, and pajamas for the night. And then I'm like, oh crap, all I have are the running shoes that I have on my feet. How am I going to wear a dress with running shoes?
Yeah, so we go shopping for dresses.
So then we literally went to like shopping for dresses, for shoes. Amir had to get a whole dress pants, dress shirt, everything. And we're like, okay, we need to check on the status of our bags. Like, best case scenario is that we get our stuff, like our bags back, and we can just return all the things that we bought. So the crazy thing is that the customer service number was only working on a North American SIM card.
Oh yeah, that was a big issue.
And we had all switched over our SIM cards to the Australian one, and we can't call with our Canadian SIM cards because it's roaming. So only Iman had like Wi-Fi calling and could only do it when she was in Wi-Fi. And at that point, like it's like the afternoon, evening, still no updates. Like they're just kind of like, you know, we'll see when we find it. And
like remember, like this is a it's minimum a 15-hour flight.
Yeah.
So like they would have to start moving it almost immediately for us to make it for the next day, because 15 hours from the afternoon means like you're making it almost hours before the actual wedding.
Literally. And so then we, make it back to our houses. So we didn't stay in the same house, but we were like 5 minutes away from each other. So we're now in our houses, kind of just like trying to relax. It was so like weird because like all of our cousins and friends came over to my cousin's house to see us, and I was just like, hey everyone. And then Khalid, one of my cousins and our friend, messages me, and he's like, hey, Amina has North America calling. I was like, what? Pretend to be Amir, because all this stuff, like the claim was under Amir's name.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to pretend to be Amir. Here's all the info. I sent it to him, and he called, and it was like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So he calls the customer service, gets through, and I don't know what he said to them, but he calls me, and he's like, hey, good news. They're going to put it on the 11:30 p.m. flight. It's going to land in Melbourne at 9 a.m. I'm pretty sure I messaged you guys in all capital letters, like, our bags are coming. Mm-hmm. And so I was so excited, and just like that made my night for me. And then the next morning, obviously because of jet lag, I woke up at like 6 a.m. Yeah. And I checked.
Same. I woke up at like 7.
I checked the Find My app, and I saw that the bags
had moved.
Like at that point had moved, but they weren't in Melbourne yet. So around 9:30, I checked it again, and it said the bags were in Melbourne. You guys, the relief. And so I don't know if we like called them or they told us like, you can't come pick it up right away because it has to go through security and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But we knew that they gave us like a rough estimate. They're like, it might be available by like 12 o'clock or something like that. Yeah. And we're about an hour with traffic, like an hour and a half sometimes from the airport, because we're on the other side of the city. So I just started making my way. Yeah. And literally so like as I was driving, they called you there. They called me. Yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. So
Amir got our bags, brought it back, and then we were getting ready for the wedding. We made it to the wedding. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. All of our stuff was intact. Iman's suitcase came as well. Yeah. So that was nice. And then I don't know about you, but at like an hour into that wedding,
what?
The way jet lag hit
hit
us all. Like we were all sitting at the table and we were supposed to be eating dinner, and like everyone's just sitting there, like, when you do that blank stare, when you're just staring into space, like, why am I in this situation?
Yeah, like jet lag for me at least, even for the 2 weeks we were there,
messed you up.
It was messing me up, like to the point where there was one night where I almost fell asleep driving, which I never do in Toronto. Even when I'm tired in Toronto, I never do that. So this was like a next level of tired.
Because, I've never seen you that
But
tired
I think it's
before.
also because, to keep in mind that the place we were staying in was basically on the other side of Melbourne. And all the people, that wedding, all the family and friends that we know for the most part live in that area. At least the ones that we came for the wedding for. So every time we wanted to go and see them, or every time there was an event, anytime we went for the wedding stuff, it would be a minimum hour drive there and minimum hour drive back. So if we finish at midnight, you're not getting home till 1 a.m. and you're already jet lagged. So that really played a big part in like how tired we were.
And side note, Australia has a lot of toll highways, unlike Canada. So if you want to fast track, you can take a toll highway. You have to pay for it. But
I'm still getting the emails of the charges I used.
Really? Oh my God, we have to tally that up and like divide that up. But anyways, so we're at this wedding, and for Amir and Gizman, it was their first time. So people like, I think, recognized you guys. They just didn't know you. So like not everyone was like coming up to, like some people were.
They're coming up to Gizman. Yeah. I mean,
Aisha. She was the resident celebrity that night, and I felt so bad for her. But I think, it was cool to see, like, people were genuinely excited to see her. Yeah. And then they would notice the rest of us, like, oh my God, you guys are all here. And so I felt like by the end of that night, my social battery was like beyond E. Like it was so done. But I was just vibes, like literally running on fumes at that point. And then, we had an amazing time on the trip. Like I don't want to give away too much because I want to save some excitement for the vlog. Yeah. But we actually got to do a lot of cool like road trips, activities. Like Amir, I think it's fair that you can talk about Gold Coast. I don't know, it's up to you, but
Oh yeah. Well,
like how did that come about?
A few things that we did before that. We went to the Great Ocean Road,
Phillip Island,
saw some penguins. You'll definitely see that. We went to the sanctuary, got to feed some kangaroos and wallabies. And
did you feed them or were you scared?
Yeah, I'm never scared.
I have to show you a video because I was vlogging.
Yeah.
And while I was vlogging, you can see the kangaroo is like
coming towards you,
but I didn't notice at first.
Yeah. Don't tell me you screamed.
Of course they ran. I'll show you the clip. It's actually so funny. I watched it today and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. The weird thing is that like, I guess the fences are more for the people, but they're like not fences, but there's like posts. Yeah. And like the wood post that goes along, but they're not for the animals. The animals can go wherever they want. Yeah. They're for you to kind of show you which way to go.
Yeah. So you're basically just walking into this open park where like the kangaroos and wallabies are just... They're really out there.
But they're cool. They're chilling. Like, people, they're pretty chilling.
I feel like the day that we went, they were hungry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The day we went, they were kind of chilling. They were like, oh.
Really?
Yeah. No, there's a couple that came up to us. There were more wallabies that came up to us.
It was so cute when they licked your hand.
I know, right? And their hands are so small compared to the kangaroos.
Reminded me of me.
What?
With the T-Rex arms. I'm just kidding. I have proportionate arms to my body. But anyway.
But, yeah, so... What's unique to me and Iman, because me and Iman went, just to set it up, like literally, I think it was like Monday, mid-Monday, our family, I think Aisha and my dad were leaving, and they're like, guys, like you're here for 2 weeks. There's so much more to Australia. They're talking to me and Iman, and they're like, just you guys should just like do something. The other people, they've been here already. They've done their things. Like, don't waste your time in Australia. You flew so long to get here.
Facts.
And they give us like such a like convincing argument and pep talk that at that moment, me and Iman like looked up tickets to Gold Coast, and they're like, oh, it's like it's less than $200. Like, it's super cheap to go there.
Yeah.
And within like a few hours, we literally booked our hotels. We booked the flights, and we booked like a couple places that we wanted to go, kind of thing. So we flew up to the Gold Coast, which is like a 2-hour flight, and like. First off, there are airports there, because I don't know, when you're flying within the country, it's very like the security is kind of concerning.
Yeah.
Like, you just walk to the security gate. They don't really make you take off a lot. You like throw your bag in. They don't really check much. We were out through security in literally 3 minutes. To get on the plane, we just showed them like the actual ticket.
Yeah.
And that's it. No idea. Like, we didn't show any ID, no passport, nothing. Just to get on this plane. So you can literally buy a ticket for anyone. They won't even check the name. They'll just like let you through.
Crazy.
We got on the flight, easy flight there. And honestly, it was like complete opposite to what we were experiencing in Melbourne when it comes to weather.
Yeah.
Because we didn't mention this yet, but in Melbourne, because their seasons are different, they're currently in fall while we're getting into summer.
Yeah.
Because they're the complete opposite. Which means that over there, surprisingly enough, it actually gets really cold. In Melbourne, like not as cold as Canada, of course.
Yeah.
But you're definitely walking around with like a sweater and a jacket, depending on the time of day.
Right.
Like you maybe have like a 1-2 hour sweet spot where you might be able to get away with a t-shirt, but for the most part you're wearing a sweater throughout the day. You'll be good in that, and some light jacket. So when we got to, I was wearing all that when I left the airport. when we flew to Gold Coast, when we got off the plane, we immediately had to take that off because it was like full on summer weather there.
Yep.
Like 25 to 30 degrees. Sun was out. It felt like we landed in like the middle of Miami. Because I felt whenever I was talking to Iman about like kind of trying to like compare it to something, think of Gold Coast. It's like a mix between Miami and LA.
Yeah.
It seems like that.
Yeah.
Like very like LA vibes, like surfer kind of vibes, but like they have the buildings right next to the ocean, similar to Miami, where like you have like the party vibe there.
That's exactly the vibe that I got.
Yeah, because you've been there too, right?
Yeah.
So we got there, and it was kind of nice because we were interacting with so many people throughout those 2 weeks, and this was nearing the end of our trip. And it was like a nice kind of like relaxing moment, being like, this is your actual vacation.
Yeah.
Because you're in Melbourne for like family and friends and wedding, and you have things to do and people to see. But in Gold Coast, you can kind of just relax and do whatever you want. Yeah. So we landed there, and I got my first ever massage.
What?
Yeah, I got a massage there.
That was your first ever massage?
I've never gotten a massage in my life.
You're missing out.
I know. I clearly, I went there and
Dang.
Iman's like, you're definitely going to need a Thai massage. Is that what it's called?
Oh, you got a Thai massage?
Yeah, I got a Thai massage. And like, I knew it was going to hurt because she's like, they're going to really like press in, right? But when they got on my back, like this is after we were relaxing. We landed, we were chilling. We were like, we're going to take it easy for the first day, check the beach out and stuff like that. But when we got to the massage place, I was like, okay, I'm going to relax here. I put my face in that whole thing.
Yeah.
You're just chilling there. And then I hear like someone like climbing onto the bench. I'm like, what is this? And they just start stepping on you. And like they're like pulling your leg back. They're pulling your arm back. They're like literally putting their foot on your back and pulling your arm back to stretch you. But then they do that thing where they take their elbow and they like drag it along your back to like take out the knots. And of course, I've never got a massage, and I never even like I've gone to the chiropractor once in my life.
Yeah.
So like there's a bunch of knots all over my body, and I told them like my back and my neck is usually my issue, and they went ham. Like there was a point where they're on a knot and they're trying to like go over it, and they're going so slow. I almost cried.
Did it hurt?
Of course it hurt, but I was like being taught. I was like, nah, I'm holding this in. Like I was like. Yo, so like after that I think we booked a couple things. We didn't book anything yet, but we like figured out what we kind of wanted to do. But like we went out to some place to find food, also not very halal friendly places, but we did eventually find a place which was really nice. I'll tell you about that later. And we like kind of signed up for something called jet boating.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy. And we also signed up for snorkeling. And that was for the next day. So at that point, we were tired already. Went home, chilled. Went to the hotel, kind of chilled. I kind of cheaped out. I got a smaller hotel,
Oh, you guys weren't in the same hotel?
No. Like mine was like right next door, basically.
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of cheaped out, I was like, I might be going on vacation, but like, I kind of turned to my dad there for a moment.
Yeah.
So in the morning we got up, and I think the first thing we had was, there was actually a little issue where because we booked it so last minute, the people at the snorkeling place messaged us. They're like, hey, so the water, like the clarity of the water might actually not be that good at the time you guys booked, which was like 1:30 in the afternoon. So can you guys come in the morning class or the morning session? And the time that they said was like literally would be like 2 minutes after our jet boating thing finishes. Shoot. And there was no way we were making it because it was like 20 minutes up the road. We had to get in the car. I rented a car for that small trip too, but just to get there would have taken too long. So we were kind of like stressed about that for the night because they messaged us so late that we couldn't message the other team to see if we could rebook that one, the jet boat.
Oh yeah. So
we kind of had to like pray that in the morning we could kind of figure it out, because even in the morning, by the time they opened to the time that we booked it, it would only be like 30 minutes to an hour. So we'd have to figure it out quickly. And thankfully, like, I think because of the vibes out there, they're like, yeah, the jet boat people are like, yeah, don't worry about it. Come at 1:45, that's fine. We'll still figure you guys out. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, that worked out. We went for snorkeling. First time ever. Actually, I think I've swam with fishes before, but like this was nice because it was more in the actual ocean. I think I've done it like in an aquarium before.
Oh.
And like this place called Blue Lagoon is in Orlando. We did like next to Disney World. Some people might know that place, but you can kind of swim with fishes there too.
Okay.
And we got on snorkeling. But to get there, you actually have to do like a 30-minute kayak session.
Why?
Across the water. Yeah, you're starting off at like the main shore.
The dock, yeah.
Not even a dock. It's like just literally on the sand.
Oh. And
then you get in your boats. You push it into the water.
Yeah.
And you start like rowing across the water. And there's like a couple islands in the middle. You kind of go around the islands, and then you park up on the side of one of the islands. You literally like you have to push yourself on there and like get out and like pull it in and everything. It was like a really cool session. It was like actually.
Wow.
You actually felt like it wasn't like some like. It felt more natural than like how you do it like in Ontario Lake, where you kind of like you have a dock where you kind of push it in and they help you pull it in and all. You're doing everything yourself. And then you walk across the beach, and there's like these shells that you can kind of pick up. I picked up a couple of those, and as you're walking across the beach, you go through some woods, a little bit, not woods, but like some bushes, and on the other side there's like an opening of another beach, like a private beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there's like a bunch of rocks, and you literally just get on your snorkeling gear. They put down like a picnic area where they have snacks and stuff for you to get.
Cute.
Yeah, it was really nice.
That's super cute.
And then you just literally put on your snorkeling gear and you jump into the water and you start swimming. And at first, when I got into the water, I didn't see any fish.
Yeah.
It was like, am I missing something here? Like, is this all like a scam? Were there really no fish here at all?
Yeah.
And after 10 minutes of like searching for this thing, or at least 5 minutes, maybe it felt like 10 minutes, I got up and I started looking at a group of people and they're all staring at one spot. Like, there must be something there, right? So just to act like I wasn't going like, just to kind of like steal their spot, I like put my head down in the water and just started swimming, like while keeping the snorkel down, just to act like, no, I'm totally just like moving here. And then out of nowhere, like, think about it, you're just seeing nothing. Hundreds of fish.
I would freak out.
I thought I would freak out too, but like I think I was expecting it because I was getting closer to them.
Yeah.
Just hundreds of fish like swimming around me.
Did they hit you at all?
No, that's the thing. They like have like a sixth sense to you, because there were a couple times where I tried to reach out and like grab a fish.
Yeah.
And I think also the perspective is kind of off, because like it would feel like they're right there, but then when I reach out, they're much further. And they would immediately like learn to like swim around you. So there was no way of grabbing them.
Spatial awareness was like 10 out of 10.
So, and I think they can, because they can also feel the water shifting around them, right? Like, and when you're pushing water, they can feel that. So I think that kind of helps with them as well, getting away. And then I thought that was it. I was like, there's only these one kind of fish. Okay, this is cool or whatever.
Yeah.
And for a good 10 minutes, I was just doing that, swimming with those fishes. And I was like, there must be more to this. And initially, I thought they said don't swim near the rocks, but they're like, you can swim near the rocks, just don't stand in the rocks, because there's coral which can like cut you up.
Oh my god!
But coral is really sharp.
I didn't know that.
But there's also something called like a rockfish, which has these little tendrils or these spikes that stick out on it. So if you step on it, it actually like will stab you.
Oh my god!
So I was scared of that happening. But with the life jacket you have on, you're barely gonna be able. You have to like force your feet to go down.
Yeah.
So I started swimming towards the rocks, and that's where like the real snorkeling experience started, where you start seeing like
that's so cool,
a bunch of different types of fish. You see like the clownfishes.
Did you see
like,
Nemo?
Yeah, I didn't see specifically the Nemo one, but I saw one like with similar colors. But they were like in a different formation. But I did see, what's the blue fish?
Dory.
I saw Dory.
You saw Dory?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I saw an eel. I got a small eel. I saw this weird long fish that had like a long. It looked like it was like a ruler.
Oh, a swordfish?
No, but it was tiny. It was like a swordfish, but tiny.
Oh.
I saw that, but it was a cool experience in general. Like, there was a lot of cool fish there, to the point where I just didn't want to stop. Like, once I got to that area and I felt comfortable, like, I just wanted to continue swimming around there. But eventually everybody started cutting out. You know, it was there for like 30 to 40 minutes. We had to make our way back because the tide starts to change as well. The currents also change. So we wanted to get back when it was safe. So we got back on. We walked across the beach again, got into our kayaks, kayaked back to the shore. The kayaking was low-key harder than I thought it would be. I think it's because you're in the open water, so the currents are a lot stronger.
Were you in a tandem boat or a single?
Tandem boat.
Okay,
yeah. At least I had some help with Iman there.
Yeah.
But still, like, it took some real effort. Like, I was I didn't get much workouts done in Australia, but that definitely helped. So we did that, and that was a cool experience in itself. And the cool thing is that because they're locals, the people who were running it, they said, hey, if you guys like go down the beach to a fish and chips place, which when we heard fish and chips, like, bless, you know.
I want fish and chips now.
But one thing you have to watch out for is a lot of places in Australia, they'll do beer battered fish. So we have to make sure, okay, you guys didn't use alcohol, right? And they're like, yeah, no alcohol here. So we got that. But the cool thing about this place was they have pelicans that show up at lunchtime every day. And there's hundreds of them, of pelicans that show up at the shore here.
Yeah, Iman sent me a video.
Oh yeah, there you go. So you saw that, and they just like chill there, and like people sometimes throw them fries or sometimes pieces of fish, and they'll just eat it, and they'll just do this weird thing where like they're like stretching their mouth, but they stretch it on their neck. And it literally, like, you know how it has like that the pouch the pouch part, and it like sticks out inwards. It's a really weird and kind of gross, but it's kind of cool at the same time. But that was an experience in itself. And then we were able to make it to the jet boat. Jet boat was nice.
Did you have fun?
Oh, I had a lot of fun. But there was one woman who tried to ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, she was next to us, and after we made it like halfway through, he turns around. He's like, "Okay, is everyone having fun?" And then she's like, she like starts waving her hand, being like, no, like she starts waving it. She's like, no. It's like, oh, what's wrong? Are you feeling sick or something? She's like, it's a lot, I'm feeling elated or like lightheaded, something like that. And she's like, just slow down for the next ride. And he's like,
what?
Yeah, and he's like, it's called jet boat, ma'am. Like he literally said, like, I wouldn't be giving you guys the experience if you weren't going fast.
Yeah.
So I think she realized that everyone else was kind of like giving her daggers. So she chilled and she's like, okay, just go. And we just went ham. He was doing 360s. We were doing jumps. He was like following boats so he can go on their tides and like jump on them. So you like go side to side. I got it all on video. I don't know how much of it I can get into the vlog, but I'm going to try and show y'all everything that we're talking about is going to show up in the vlog for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure whoever's listening to this, like, I'm tired of hearing about it. I want to see it.
I know.
So maybe I'll put a couple clips here and there just to give a couple teases.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a cool experience in itself. And we got lucky because that same night, I think it was the same night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the same night, there was a night market.
Oh, so, yeah.
Like, it kind of gave us something to do the whole day. We did that. We got back from the jet boat experience. It was already kind of like the afternoon. And because they're in opposite season, like it's fall there, their sun goes down a lot earlier. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing that sucked. Their sun did go down a lot earlier. So by 5 o'clock, it's already dark.
Yeah.
So we kind of got back to our hotel rooms, recouped, got dressed, like took showers, everything. And then at nighttime, we stepped out to go to the night market, got some, unique things here and there for people locally for like gifts and stuff like that. And we actually saw a coffee booth or like a little cafe booth, and it was actually a hijabi woman.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're rare to see out there.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I didn't like about Australia, not Australia, but like Gold Coast in general. And you guys, I think already experienced this before, but like they are very racist.
Yeah.
And they have no problem staring at you constantly. Well, not me, because like I just look black, I don't have any visible Muslim attire on. But Iman, who's a hijabi, clearly does, right?
Yeah.
So I notice, of course, sometimes the hijabis might not notice, but I notice because I'm standing behind and I'm like seeing people stare, but like they're like staring hard. Especially when I think there's one point where we went to relax. I think there's a day we were leaving. We went to relax at like the pool area, not even to get in the pool, just to relax at the area. And there's like one guy who's just staring hard. And I wanted to say something, but like you're making an assumption there, right? He could be just staring because he stares or something, but I didn't want to say anything, cause emotion or whatever, especially if she didn't notice it. So
she didn't notice?
I don't think so. I don't know. I need to ask her again. I did mention it afterwards, but I don't think she acknowledged that she noticed it. But I think she just knows in general that that's an issue. And when you see a hijabi woman, you're in a place where you're not familiar with, you're like, where the halal spots? So immediately we asked her, like, as we're waiting, Iman's like, do you guys know like any good halal spots out here? And they're like, I don't know about halal spots, right?
Yeah.
But because Gold Coast, close to Gold Coast, there is Brisbane, which has more of like the regular populace. So I'm sure there's more spots there. But in Gold Coast itself is more touristy, so they don't really have that. But one thing that's cool about Australia is that they have a lot of Wagyu meat.
Yeah.
And a lot of those places, they do have halal options, or like their meat is halal. So we asked them, they're like, yeah, there's a place like actually down the street called Betty's, I believe the name was. And they actually have like their meat is halal. Yeah. So we're like, bet. We walked down to the spot. And immediately like, yo, give us whatever has the most meat in it. At least I did. I was like, give me a double. I'll take whatever has the most meat in it. Actually, no. Initially, I got meat patty, like their meat sandwich, but like it had prawns in it as well.
Interesting. Like surf and turf?
Yeah, like surf and turf.
Okay.
And actually, that was probably, honestly, when we got it, that was the best burger I had tasted in a long time. It was packaged very much like, what's a similar thing? In Toronto, we have a place called Burgers Park. It's very similar to that.
Okay.
It's like, or what other people might know in America, In-N-Out, maybe. It was kind of like that kind of vibe.
They compare Burgers Park to Shake Shack.
Yeah, it was very Shake Shack-like.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like those flat burgers. What do they call them?
Oh, smash burgers.
Smash burgers.
Ooh.
Exactly. It tasted so good.
Dang.
To the point where we literally went twice in less than 24 hours.
Did you?
Yeah. Because it's really the only option.
You know what? Iman Loki does have like a hyperfixation type of personality.
No, it was me too. I think
so
I was
do
one
you.
of the
Yeah, both of you are like, if you like something, they will like repeatedly go back.
Yeah, so we definitely took advantage of the fact that we were going to be there for one more day, so we went the next day when we were waiting for our flight time. And actually we went to another place called Infinity that same night. I think it was that same night. It all blends together, but that was a weird experience in itself. I couldn't get too much video of it, but it's basically like a bunch of rooms. Each one has like a weird psychedelic experience in it.
Oh yeah, she sent me that too.
Yeah, it's like a bunch either plays with lights or like with sound or something. Sometimes you might be like in a dark room, but there's like hands sticking out of the wall and touching you, and like these streams of hair coming down, and it feels like you're in like people are touching you.
So it's like a sensory type.
Yeah, it's a sensory thing, but it's supposed to be scary because of the sounds, and they had like air jets. There's one room where you walk through. It seems like very...
You went through that?
Nonchalant. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Oh, I was going to say, that's unlike you.
There was a thing that said like no kids. I was like, oh, maybe because like the side, like kids wouldn't have fun there. But it was, I understood why, because there was a room where it seems like very innocent. There's nothing in that room. You're just walking from one room to another, and then air jets from all different directions start shooting you. One from your neck, back of your neck, one from your side. We're like doing that weird, like you know, someone's trying to tickle you. We're doing that, running through the room.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a cool experience in itself. But Gold Coast in general was fun.
Yeah.
On the last day, we didn't have a flight till like 9:30 p.m. So we had a whole day to kill. And because we did all the water stuff before on the good day, luckily enough, the next day was actually raining a lot, like almost torrential pours at certain times.
Yeah.
But there was a good like window in the middle of the day where it didn't rain as much. And that was the same day we were actually supposed to go to the amusement parks, because Gold Coast is also known for having their amusement parks.
Yep. And
we specifically went to the Dream World, I believe. And the good thing is that because we went there on a rainy day, these people are not used to rain. Barely anyone in park. Literally almost an empty park. No lines. The only issue with that is that because they're not used to it, there might be rides that are closed. Oh. But all the rides we wanted to go on were open. So like we went on the roller coasters. There was one that we almost missed, which was the best one. But because no one was at the park, we were able to get everything done within 2 hours.
The whole amusement park?
The whole amusement park.
How?
Like all the rides we wanted to go on. Like the roller coasters, the drop zone one.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. We went on all of them within less than 2 hours. And we were about to leave because we got there at like 12 and it was like 2 o'clock. And we had a bunch of time to kill, but we're like, we'll just kill at like the hotel. They'll let us use the amenities until we have to go. But at that moment, because we tried to go there first, but it was closed. At the moment we were about to leave, we're like, let's just see if that ride is open, right? Yeah. And I look up, and because it's the biggest roller coaster in the park, I saw like people on the ride. So we booked it to that area. Thankfully, no one else had noticed, or at least there was no one there to notice. Yeah. So we got on that ride immediately. It was probably the best ride of the bunch.
Really? Yeah,
it was fun. That was actually really good because it does this weird thing where it goes forward, but then it goes back, and then it goes up into like a U shape, like a half a U shape all the way up, and then it drops again, but then it speeds you up. It like shoots you forward. So it shoots you back, shoots you forward, and then you do like a bunch of drops and like twirls and everything. It was the best.
See, the difference between Amir and I is I'm like terrified of roller coasters.
But this one was pretty tame. It wasn't like horrible. It wasn't like Leviathan or something.
That doesn't sound tame.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, so we did that. We chilled at the hotel for the rest of the day, flew back, and that was our Gold Coast experience. And honestly, like that was the best experience.
You did so much in like 2.5 days, 3 days.
Everything worked out perfectly. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. And then, of course, we came back. We had a couple more days. We chilled with the family and friends. Yeah. And the wedding, we forgot to mention, the wedding was fun, of course.
The wedding was so beautiful, mashallah.
May Allah bless, Abbas and what can I say? Yeah, Wareg and their union.
Ameen.
And inshallah, next time we go back and we, little toddlers coming here, just so give us a reason to come back. I'm just saying. But yeah, that was fun.
What are your because now that we're actually talking about it, we've debriefed the bulk of the trip. Oh, actually, we didn't even talk about our journey home.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about the journey home real quick.
Of course they couldn't let us go.
So we get to the airport, and I was already like, should I extend my flight? Should I just stay an extra week?
Yeah, emotions were high at this point.
I was sad. Everyone was sad. Anyways, we get to the airport at like 9:15. Our flight was at 12. And we're looking for the check-in gate. And what does it say? flight to New Zealand delayed until 5 p.m. I was like,
which means that we would literally miss the rest of our connections.
Right. And so I was like, hey, we're staying in Melbourne. And so I messaged in our group chat once again, you guys, flight is delayed. And
I think we were already there when we found out.
You were like just parking.
Yeah.
And so we like all met up, and then we had to go back to the gate again and just see if we could get rebooked on something else.
Thankfully, because our check-ins weren't working the day before, none of us were checked in at that moment.
Yeah, so we didn't get to check in. So that kind of
helped.
So, and then side note, because we did so much shopping, Nabat and I were splitting an extra checked bag. So more like other people from Toronto were left a couple days before, and they were like, oh yeah, we had the same airline, so they were saying like you only have to pay like $111 ish, $100 something. So we're prepared for that. I'm like, cool. We get rebooked, and now we're going from Melbourne to Dallas to Toronto. Again, seems like the best case scenario. We're also on Qantas Airlines this time. So we're like, okay, cool. So now we're waiting in line to check in. It was like super slow. We waited a good like amount of time, I feel like. We finally get into the check-in counter. And I'm like, okay, all of our bags are low-key overweight. Let me like charm up the lady. So I was doing the talking for all of us. And I was like, hi, how are you? Whatever, like talking to her. And so she checks us all in. I'm like, by the way, we have an extra checked bag. She's like, okay, does some typing. $300, please. Sorry? $300.
Did you say how much it cost on the other airline?
111.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was like 300, and I was like, ma'am, this was not my original flight, and I was prepared to pay $111, not $300. And I was like, can I please speak to your manager?
You were that person?
I was that person. So she's like, okay, 1 second. So she goes, speaks to her manager, and she's like, look, because it's not our fault, like this was the other airlines. Again, they're like blaming each other. It's the other airline's fault, so you're gonna have to pay, and then like
they'll reimburse you,
like contact them, and like you can file a claim or whatever. So I'm pissed, but I'm just like, fine, whatever. Like,
yeah, like we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. So I give her my credit card, whatever. She swipes it, gives me the receipt, and then we go like
tearful goodbyes.
Very tearful goodbye. Like I think it was Iman that was like, I've never seen Amir cry before. I'm like, really? I have. I've seen him cry, and so has all of YouTube.
Yeah, basically.
But no, Abbas is obviously like one of our childhood best friends.
Yeah.
And it was a very emotional goodbye. But me personally, I don't like goodbyes in general. Like, doesn't matter who you are. But obviously, like, this one hit different because, like, you know, that's our bestie. And we were saying goodbye because he was starting his new life in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But anyways, we said our goodbyes. And so we go through security.
Oh, wait. What happened in security?
You don't remember what happened in security?
What happened in security?
Think about it. What did you forget?
What did I... oh, shoot. Okay, yeah. No, so I've done this before.
You would think that after the Sweden trip, Amir would know better.
Okay. Everyone forgets their carry-on. What are you talking about? Okay. No. Okay. 1 second.
How did that even happen?
No. Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't go to Australia with a carry-on, but you know how it is when you go to a place where you it's very far. People are gonna give you gifts. You like, there's likely they're not gonna see you in a long time. They're gonna give you gifts, clothes, all this stuff, right? So it came to the point where I wouldn't be able to fit it all in my actual baggage, so I had to get a carry-on.
Yep.
So I got a carry-on, but like I'm already in the mindset, or like I'm used to never carrying a carry-on. So when I was going through security, I had my bag. I was like, I'm set. I start walking out, you know, making calls. Everybody, they're like, yeah, we're good, man. And everybody's like getting food. And I didn't even say anything to you guys. I literally was standing there. I'm like, I think I saw like Iman carrying a carry. I was like, that reminds me of something. And immediately I look over to myself like, damn. Because I thought I left it in the convenience store at that moment. I was like, I went into convenience store. I was like, shoot, it's not there. And I was embarrassed, so I didn't want to say anything to you guys. Oh yeah.
She's like, oh my god, you guys, Amir forgot.
at this point I had already ran back.
So I'm like,
to the
he was
security.
Gone. So she's like, guys, Amir forgot his suitcase. I'm like, how? I'm like, wait till he comes back. So we already made it through. We got to our gate.
Yeah.
And now we're in line, and they like Amir was making it back. And while they're scanning our boarding passes, Nabat randomly gets selected for a search. God.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so they scan all of ours. We're waiting for her. She's like nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Doesn't have service. So like we're trying to message her.
And initially we could see her. She was like in the area, like the security waiting area. But then we turn around and we turn back. She's not there anymore at all.
Yeah. So we're like, what did they do with Nabat? Like, should we get on the plane? Like, what happened? And then eventually we get on the plane and we see her like sitting down.
Literally as we're walking in, we're like, damn, we gotta save a seat for Nabat or something. I look down, I just see Nabat staring at me like this on the seat.
I'm like, oh, you made it on? Like you got VIP service?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we made it to Dallas. It was so hot in that airport.
Yeah. The moment they opened those doors, it just a gust of like heat.
Like it hit you. And then it reminded me like, oh shit, it's summer everywhere else in the world. Like, duh. So we went through our layover in Dallas. We made it home to Toronto. As soon as I could turn my phone back on, I checked. I was like, are our bags here? And they all made it. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we made it home. I want to ask you though, because usually, actually, maybe you're not like this, but like usually when you travel and you
wait. Sorry. Yeah. I'm cutting you off again there.
What happened?
Like, you know how we mentioned when we were going to Australia, like you don't get your food choices or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we kind of lucked out with the United flight. It wasn't horrible, but it was okay. But coming back from Qantas, if you're a Muslim and you haven't chosen your flights ahead, never take Qantas, okay? Because what kind of options were these? One of the meals was literally fruit salad, and when I say fruit salad, it's literally just cut up fruits in like a little tray.
I remember that.
And that's supposed to be a meal
for
for
that
someone.
And yogurt, no?
It was yogurt, but it had mangoes in it. And like I mentioned, I don't like fruits and stuff, so I couldn't eat that anyways. So I literally was surviving on fruits. And I think the second meal or the first meal, I can't remember which order it came in. What was the first meal? It was like... it
was like an orzo pasta... chickpea something.
Yeah, it was like a chickpea pasta.
Something
basically.
Like some kind of pasta-y type of dish.
Yeah, not filling at all. Not filling at all.
It wasn't filling. We bought snacks before the flight though.
Thankfully we did buy some snacks beforehand, so we were prepared for the most part. But I wasn't expecting like not being able to eat at least like at least one proper meal.
Okay.
On a 16-hour flight.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I think I slept for like
you guys slept a lot.
13 of those hours.
Yeah. I was sitting like a couple rows behind, but a couple times I would like walk past to like do some checks, and all three of them are like leaning on each other.
Did you? Okay. Did they give out ice cream at one point?
Did they? I think so.
Or was I dreaming?
They gave out something. Yeah, I think they did.
Because at one point, like, I was in such deep sleep that Nabat poked me, and I remember her being like, do you want ice cream? And I'm like, I'm sleeping, Nabat.
Yes, they gave ice cream bars.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, the ones with chocolate and like the nuts covered.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It tasted like an ice cream bar. Yeah. That one was good. That was like the one positive.
I literally only woke up to eat. Like, the exhaustion that I felt on that flight.
Yeah.
And by the time I landed, like, you would think that I wouldn't be able to sleep. No, I went to sleep.
I'm surprised you guys slept on. I didn't. I slept maybe 1 or 2 hours on that 15-hour flight.
Really? I just did. I think I
watched
slept
half of the Harry Potter saga.
That's insane. But did you sleep like your last night? Did you actually sleep on time and stuff?
What do you mean when I landed?
No, like the night before we flew out.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's why.
Yeah.
I know because my sleep's gonna get messed up if I don't do this. I think I slept maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours before we got on the flight.
Yeah, we definitely got some good sleep. I don't know how Iman slept the whole time then.
She had no choice. We weren't talking to her. There was no Wi-Fi on that plane either, so she's like, whatever, I'll just go to sleep. I think.
Thankfully, I always pre-download shows and like.
Yeah, I didn't care to do that. I just wanted to sleep. And thankfully, I'm the type of person that could sleep anywhere because it was.
One thing I did find out though that you could do on flights now, or maybe this is just unique to Qantas, is that they actually have like a tray, not a tray, like a little cabinet. in the back
Yeah.
where you can kind of just take snacks. Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
yeah. So because I was getting hungry and like I wasn't getting any food, I would just walk to the back. I would take like crushed almonds, and like they had these cookies. I had like a couple packets of those cookies. You could take drinks if you wanted to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, on that flight though, I think it was actually another flight. Whereas one flight where I went to the washroom. Oh, it was that flight on Qantas where I went to the washroom like 30 times. Okay, not 30 times, like 20
you
times.
told me this story, yeah.
I drank like 3 bottles of water beforehand. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting down and not moving, your body's like, okay, I don't know what to do with all this excess water. I'm just going to dump it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it dumped it out in like 20 sessions. Anyone who knows me knows that's like a big issue with me. But whatever. We got through. Now what were we going to ask?
I was going to ask, did you get hit with like the post-travel blues? Or were you happy to be back in your routine?
I was like happy to be back in a way, but like it took me a while to kind of get comfortable. I felt weirdly uncomfortable because I'm so used to my routine, and trying to figure out how to get back into my routine, like I just felt kind of weird, like because I hadn't been to the gym for so long. When I went to the gym, I went a little too hard, and like my body was destroyed the next day.
Yeah.
And like because of the timing, like there was a couple days when I went into the office and I was like falling asleep on my desk at 2 p.m. and everything kind of felt weird. Now I feel a little bit more like better, like more in my routine.
Yeah. You know what actually hit me the hardest?
What?
The weather. Like, even though it was hot, I was like, I wanted to wear sweaters and jackets and stuff.
Really?
Because I was used to doing that in Melbourne. So I'm like, wait, it's hot outside. Like, the AC is on in our house. Like, that's so strange.
Oh, okay. I immediately got used to the weather. I was like wearing T-shirts immediately.
Like, weird.
Even when we landed, I think I switched over to a T-shirt immediately because I had a sweater on.
You did. I remember that. And then jet lag. It's so hard with working, like, because it hits you around like 1-2 p.m.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God, my brain has literally shut down and I don't know how to function for the rest of the day.
I told my office when I got in there for the first day.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, like after 2 p.m. I might be useless.
Yeah.
I might be, I'm going to be here, but I might be useless.
Yeah. Thankfully, honestly, like this week was just like a catch up week work-wise. And I feel like next week is going to be where like reality sinks in. But I feel like the post-travel blues didn't hit me as hard this time as it did last time. But granted, the last time I was there for a month. So I feel like I really submerged myself in like the Melbourne culture, you know?
And for me, it's different because like I'm a man of routine. So getting back into routine is like what
I'm not even going to lie to you. That night, so because I slept on the entire flight, I thought that I would be able to like stay up a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, let me catch up on Bridgerton. So I put on episode 3, sit on the couch while everyone else went to sleep. Yeah. And I knocked out within like 3 minutes. Wake up, it's like 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? So I frantically like run upstairs to my room. I mean, I'm not even joking. I quickly changed. I crawled into my bed with a smile on my face because I missed my bed so much.
Yeah, and we didn't have work the next day, right?
Yeah, we didn't have work on Monday. So I just like... that feeling of like I can go to sleep with no alarm was like the best feeling ever. Yeah. Granted, because of jet lag, I ended up waking up at like 6 a.m.
I'm still dealing with that now.
Yeah, I don't mind it though, because it helps.
Yeah, I guess so with work and everything.
Yeah, so
there was one last thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Something really dumb I did. Okay.
What'd you do?
So, we all land in Toronto. We're a little delirious. It's been 27, 28 hours of us traveling. Yep. Or not 27, 28, sorry.
24.
24 hours of us traveling. And because late at night, like all of us kind of had to figure out how to get Ubers. I think Sabri came to pick you up and was able to take you guys there. Yeah, we were like
trying to figure out like who
to take.
How can we fit everyone's stuff in there? But then
it was not enough room. So I was like, I'm going to just take an Uber and call it from there. So granted, caveat, I don't use Uber that much, okay? So I call it on the app. I'm with Nabat because she's also taking an Uber. And it said on my thing, like, the Honda Black Civic, this license plate or whatever. I was like, okay, I just have to look out for those and I'm good. And then, you can see the guy on the map, right? So it starts pulling up and I see a black sedan pulling up to me. So I I was like, okay, that's the one. And I swear to God, in my eyes, I saw the license plate that was on my thing. So I immediately flagged the person down, and he sees me. He's like, flags me down. No question. He just gets out of the car. He's like, oh, you have luggage? We throw it into there. I get into the back seat, and he immediately starts driving. And then I see his GPS. It says like 27 minutes, something like that. And then he starts getting a call. And he's like confused. He's like, what? This is the number. This is not your number? I'm like, no. And then he answered it. And she's like, hey. And I hear a voice of a lady saying, hey, I'm here waiting for you. It says that you like passed or something like that. And then it clicked. I was like, oh my God. I got into the wrong Uber. And it clicked for him at the same time too, because he immediately like took off to the side. But we were just far enough to where like he couldn't like reverse back.
Yeah.
And because I had actually one other thing is that when we got to Australia, we changed our SIM cards. And everybody knows you're supposed to just put your own SIM card inside the back of your case. Mm-hmm. I forgot to do that. So I lost my SIM card. So when we landed in Toronto, because I couldn't get it like an eSIM from the company, I don't know why they didn't allow me to do that. I basically had to use the Wi-Fi. And then after we left the airport, I wouldn't have any connection. So when he gets off, I'm like, oh, shoot, I can't even cancel it because I don't have any. I don't know how to set it up. I don't have any Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, give me to the lady. He's like, okay, give me like 1 minute or some kind of thing. And he starts driving to do a U-turn and like turn around and come back to the gate. And then she calls back again. And he's like, he told her at that point, he's like, sorry, I picked up the wrong person. I am turning around right now. I can pick you up in like 1 minute, 2 minutes. And she's like, actually, I feel uncomfortable. I don't think this is a good thing. And she's like, I'm going to cancel the ride. And she like just hangs up immediately, which I was like, uncomfortable. What do you mean? You just picked up the wrong person. Why can't you wait like 1 minute?
Yeah.
And I forgot about my Uber at this point. So he drives around and he's already driving around. So he comes back to the pickup area. And I was finally able to get the Wi-Fi because I was connected earlier, and I immediately started getting a message from the other Uber driver. It's like, question mark, where are you? I can't see you, blah, blah. And I started messaging him like, I'm sorry, I got into the wrong Uber. He's like, what? Literally, he's like, what? And I was like, you can just cancel a ride, which I didn't know that I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So as he's trying to play, I'm like, cancel. And I just ended it. It's like, you'll get fees. I was like, I don't care at this point. I canceled it.
Yeah.
And then we're both sitting there staring at each other, the Uber driver and me. I'm like, you know what? I feel sorry, man. Let's just, honors, what do you call it?
Honor system.
Honor system. I'm going to just pay you whatever I was going to get, whatever I was going to pay Uber anyways, and you can just drive me home.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I already listened to Miss Sound Out on that. I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for that anyways. And he accepted it. So I just like literally e-transferred him. I was like, okay, I'm going to just e-transfer you. Because we had to do it at the airport since I didn't have Wi-Fi. So I did that first.
Yeah.
And we started like making our way home. He dropped me off. I got Wi-Fi at home. I was like, okay, just to show you that I'm not trying to like screw with you here. You can put it in now and get your money and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
So thankfully, alhamdulillah, like he was able to drop me off. I paid him. He technically got more money because Uber drivers will get only a cut of that. Yeah. But I gave him actually more than what I was going to pay initially because I felt bad. Yeah. And he got it all. So, hopefully, he wasn't really screwed from that. His score wasn't affected too much. One review, you can't really do that too much. I'm just saying, right? Yeah. But yeah, I got home safely, alhamdulillah. You guys got home safely, clearly. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, the trip was good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Like, I think now looking back, it genuinely feels like a dream that we were even there. Like it just like while we were there, I feel like time was going by slow and I was happy about it.
Yeah.
But now that we're back, I'm like, oh my God, like were we actually just in Australia? Like it's so crazy.
Yeah. That's like any vacation, really, when you go like somewhere that far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully this was somewhat entertaining. This little recap. We'll be back to a regularly scheduled programming next week, because when we were gone, there's a lot that happened. Yeah, there's so much that we need to catch up on, but we figured it would be too much to put everything plus our trip recap in one episode. So this is more of just like trip recap, and then next week, you guys will get the regular episode like we normally do. So yeah. Thank you again, guys, for listening to the Cousin Connection podcast. If you guys want to, put in any of your own traveling experiences, similar to what we had there or not, you can put that into the comments there. Other than that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully the algorithm doesn't hate us now that we were gone for a few weeks. So send this to as many people as you can. Get our name out there, inshallah. Also, shout out again to Faris, our cousin. Cousin connection. I'm just saying, who made this shirt for us. And inshallah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. And free Palestine.
Yes.